This was the eighth and final State of the Union address from President George W. Bush. I've been there to hear all of them. It's a tough assignment for a president who's a lame duck and just has a year left to give an inspiring speech and really rally any Congress to do anything significant, particularly in an election year. The president said a few things that I believe were positive. We do need an economic stimulus. His economic policy has not worked. We're sliding toward a recession. The lack of regulation has led to too many mortgage foreclosures, and we need to do something in a hurry. What he called for is a move in the right direction, as late as it's coming, and we need to try to pass it as quickly as we can. I also think the president had some positive things to say when it came to energy. The fact is, he's come to acknowledge that we have a problem with our dependence on foreign energy, and we need to do more, even beyond the increase in fuel efficiency of cars and trucks. We have to create incentives for investment in energy, environmentally safe investment in our future. I think those are positive things. There's one area where the president and I have agreed on for a long time, despite our many differences, and that's his commitment to global AIDS. It's true, this president stepped forward like no other president, committing $15 billion over 5 years, and now has called for us to double that commitment over the next 5 years. I think that is money well spent, and I hope that the Congress, whoever leads it, is going to listen carefully to the president's advice. Having talked about some areas of agreement, there are areas of disagreement as well. Wasn't it ironic the time that he spent talking about earmarks? You know, we changed the Senate and House rules. Earmarks now are transparent. We disclose publicly in advance before we vote on anything what we're requesting and what's included in the bill. You know, the old days that led to people being let off to prison are over, and they should be over. We need transparency. But for the president to say that this has some fiscal impact is to ignore the obvious. Just a few sentences before his earmark statement, he called for making his tax cuts permanent. You know what that's going to cost us? $2 trillion by the year 2014. $2 trillion. You couldn't dream up enough earmarks to come to $2 trillion for tax breaks for the wealthiest people in America. Is there any wonder that responsible congressmen and senators are questioning whether these tax cuts, made permanent, are the right thing for America's future? Ties our hands and binds us with debt that generations will pay for years to come. And I listened to the president when he talked about FISA as well. And I have to say, I really wonder if the president's following what's going on the floor of the Senate. Time and again, we have offered him 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, 12 months to extend the current FISA law so that he can continue intercepting communications that might stop some acts of terrorism and keep America safe. Time and again, his leader, Mitch McConnell, the Republican from Kentucky, has said no, don't extend it. Let's live by the deadline of February 1st. Today's cloture motion that was offered by Senator McConnell got fewer than 50 votes. Fewer than 50 members agree with Senator McConnell's approach. We want to have an amendment process. We think we should have it soon. We want to raise the question of the immunity from liability for any telephone companies that have cooperated with our government. These are legitimate issues to be debated and voted on. And we can do this. We should do it in a sensible way. And finally, let me say this. When I heard what the president had to say about Iraq, it is clear there will be no change in the policy in Iraq before he leaves. Thank goodness 20,000 American soldiers will come home, but many more should come home. They've done a great job for our country. They've risked, and many have given their lives in service to our nation. And we've got to make certain that at least the next president understands that the failed policy of Iraq is not going to make America stronger in the years to come. We need new leadership, new policy in that country. We need new policy around the world to restore America's image.